Hi, I'm Kathleen McGivney, CEO of RedBar. I'm an avid watch collector, and I'm going to be joined by a couple of my friends today to talk about buying and selling watches on eBay.
Hi, my name's Greg Wirtz. I'm an attorney, longtime RedBar member.
Hi, my name is Adam Craniotes, and I'm the founder of RedBar Group and the editor-at-large for Revolution Magazine USA.
One of the things I think that we all have in common is that we've been, buying and or selling on eBay for a long time. All three of us. Some a little more avidly than others, I think. But one of the things that I always do when a RedBar member that's kind of new comes along, they'll ask me a lot of questions, and eBay always comes up. It's like, is it safe to buy on eBay? What should I do? And so I always tell them to buy the seller. And I think, regardless of where you're purchasing things, you should buy the seller, but it's really easy to do that on eBay because you can see their feedback, their history, you can message them directly. And I've had a lot of really good luck, especially when I have questions, because, particularly around vintage pieces, you want to ask about the provenance, you want to, there might be questions that come up. And I like the fact that you can kind of get a feel for the seller when you have those conversations with them on eBay. But that's basically what I tell all the new guys. There's always new folks that are getting involved, and they're like, how do I get started? Where do I go?
It's about transparency, and I think that's where eBay is good, is you can have the detailed feedback. I like that you can look and you can see exactly what they sold, when they sold it, and then you get feedback from the people talking about the transaction. It's a little blip, but there's enough data points where you can just put it all together. It's not so difficult that I think a new RedBar member comes in, they need to be schooled up a little bit, but it's a lot of common sense, which is good because it's so transparent.
The traditional route was to go through forums, to basically not only buy the seller, but from people that you kind of have a relationship with already.
I think the new authentication program is really going to help a seller too. I would love to keep everything, but a lot of collectors end up selling a lot of watches. With this, what you're sending out, if you have to get it back, you're getting exactly what you sent, which really makes me as a seller very comfortable.
I really think that this new eBay authenticity guarantee makes it just easier for new collectors to get right into it and start buying watches.
Kind of shortens the learning curve for everybody. It's not that inside baseball that it can intimidate a lot of new people when they get into the hobby.
I think the best thing about this is it's truly a game changer. It revolutionizes buying and selling for both vintage and contemporary watches by protecting the buyer and the seller.
I've been doing the RedBar thing, in a very, what I like to call analog fashion. As a matter of fact, we started the group before Instagram. So that was kind of the joke, is that it was like 2 of us, then 5 of us, then 10, then it's 20. We were meeting once a month, then we're meeting every 2 weeks. Pretty soon we're meeting every week. And then, all of a sudden Instagram's a thing. So I was like, well, hell, I'll put up a photo here or there. And it was from that it kind of just really grew. So it wasn't even just you saying, hey, what's up? But it was a lot of collectors in the city saying, how do I get to hang out and do this stuff too? And then it was people in other cities saying, well, we love what you're doing. How can we get that started where we are?
Well, we're lucky here in New York in that there's kind of a watch collector scene. Different brands will have things, and you're always doing, it could be a whole circuit, when we were allowed to go outside. And I kind of came into RedBar backwards because I was doing some of those things, and I was here about RedBar, and there was this kind of mystique with it, which was cool. And it was like, wait, what are they doing? They're getting together, and everybody just gets together, brings a bunch of watches, drinks, talks about the watches. That sounds great. It sounds great. It's not so. It sounded very organic.
Mm-hmm. The thing that's really great about this is the digital community, the online community, has really kind of become an in-person community where it went backwards from the way that a lot of things have evolved, where in-person communities have then gone digital. This was people see people hanging out with watches on Instagram, and then they want to come and hang out in the
because at the point when we started RedBar, it was really at that point everything was on the forums. And so, but people were developing relationships and people were communicating, and so it was there, and you were sharing photos of your watches, but this is such a tactile hobby, you know, that it seemed like, well, let's actually step back, you know, from this, and let's meet in person.
Yeah.
You know, let's be able to handle the watches, to be able to appreciate that and to share that passion face to face. And of course, we have had to kind of do a 180 from that. But what's nice is that the community was already so strong that everyone just kind of adapted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
When you
that's-
can travel, you have
yeah.
a whole built-in network. You go somewhere, there's a RedBar chapter.
Well, you've done that. You went
Yeah.
to Italy, and
Yeah.
and the Italian guys kind of
Yeah.
like showed you around.
Oh, it was amazing.